G'day everyone, my name is Alvis. Welcome to Friend and Machine. As you've probably heard, there's been a Diablo II remake, re-release, rumor, or leak. Today I want to talk about the credibility of this leak. So if you haven't heard, there's a French gaming website called ACTU Gaming, Act2 Gaming. Apparently they've got an inside source that is saying that Blizzard Entertainment are going to release Diablo 2 remastered at the end of this year. Now, usually I don't mess around with leaks or rumors, but there's a little bit more credibility behind this. The editor of this website accurately predicted Diablo 4, Overwatch 2, and the World of Warcraft expansion. They're saying that Diablo 2 is going to be remastered. It's going to be called Diablo 2 Resurrection, and it's coming out in the fourth quarter of this year, in 2020, the time of this video. Now, they're also saying that it's being developed by a company called Vicarious Visions. Now, there are so many supposed leaks and rumors that come out every year, especially before BlizzCon, but it's really difficult to be able to get Diablo 4, Overwatch 2, and World of Warcraft correct, but also get the name of the expansion correct. It's quite clear that the original leak for this first article was an actual inside leak. So it doesn't necessarily mean that this one is accurate as well. Okay, so the first thing I want to mention is Blizzard Entertainment traditionally never announce a game and then release it, say, within 6 months later. I don't know if you've been following Blizzard Entertainment or not, but they're trying to become more of a modern company. Instead of spending 10 years to release a new Diablo game, they're trying to increase their production. Diablo 2 Resurrected. This is so obvious that anyone could really pick a name like that. So in the leak, they say that Diablo 2 Resurrected is scheduled for a fourth quarter release. Scheduled is very different language to released. Okay, so released in the fourth quarter. Scheduled could also mean first announced with a website, teasers, gameplay, pre-orders, or it could also mean that it will begin production. It's scheduled for production to start in the fourth quarter. I've seen a couple of articles saying Diablo 2 Resurrection potentially going to be released at the end of the year. The language is very open. Now, the last part about this leak is that the game is going to be developed by Vicarious Visions. So in the past, I never would have believed that whatsoever, especially with a franchise so connected to Blizzard Entertainment's brand. To outsource something like that would be absurd. But we've seen recently with Diablo Immortal, the new Diablo mobile game, that this is definitely on the cards. And as I mentioned earlier, Blizzard are trying to move into a more modern, a quicker production schedule with their games. So what's up with the studio, Vicarious Visions? Who are they? So Activision is their parent company. Okay, so they've worked on Skylanders, Destiny 2. They work on one major project every year based on their history. Now, the last game in 2019 was Crash Team Racing. Believe it or not, the Crash Bandicoot franchise is owned by Activision now, but the studio has no major game announcements for 2020. Even if you're skeptical like me, this leans towards the credibility of this leak being more authentic as we go. The last game that Vicarious Studio worked on also came out on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch. So if you're going to release a Diablo 2 remake, you'd want to make sure the studio knows how to create games and port them on all of these platforms. So it's another checkbox. David Brevik, the original creator of Diablo 2, and Max Schaefer, they dropped the bombshell. They basically said, look, we lost the source code for Diablo 2. Now, what they did is they had different builds of the game while they were working on it. They managed to put it together. They didn't back it up. And that's why whenever you see an interview with David Brevik, he openly says, look, it would be really difficult to remake Diablo 2. Now, for them to be able to do this, that means, what was the fucking studio's name again? Vicarious Visions would have to recreate so much of the source code as well as the original art assets from scratch. So that's another big hiccup for this game. At the end of the day, my opinion is that All of this stuff leans to a accurate leak. If this leak is true and the game does get released, it means that someone's got Blizzard's production schedule and they are consistently leaking it out to the media. Or it's Blizzard Entertainment doing a traditional leak like most movies do, just to build up hype. But overall, this looks very promising out of all the leaks I've heard over the years. My name is Aldous. This is Friend and Machine. Subscribe. See you next time.